Good morning. It's 9 o'clock. I'd like to call to order July 2nd, 2024 Oswego City School District Board of Education organizational meeting. Sean Callan,
Here.
Julie Chetney,
Here.
Tom Chapa,
Here.
Dave Crisafulli,
Here.
Jim McKenzie,
Here.
Kristen Norfleet, Sean Onmet.
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Is there a motion to select Diane Schrader to be appointed temporary chairman of this meeting?
I move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. The first thing on the agenda is I will read the oath to the newly elected board members, Tom Chapa and Sean Ahmet. I think one at a time, but yeah. Okay. There he is. You can repeat after me, or you can raise your right hand and just say, "I do," when I'm done.
Okay.
Okay. I, Tom Chapa, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and I will faithfully discharge, according to the best of my ability, the duties of the position of Board of Education member, which I am now assigned.
I will.
Sean, you raise your right hand. Either repeat after me or say, "I do," when I'm done.
I like the way you just did it.
Okay. I, Sean Onmet, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and I will faithfully discharge, according to the best of my ability, the duties of the position of Board of Education member, which I am now assigned.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next on the agenda is the election of President of the Board of Education for the 24-25 school year. Are there any nominations?
I nominate Jim McKenzie.
I'll
second.
Are there any other nominations? Okay. We'll do a roll call. Sean Callan,
Yes.
Julie Chetney,
Yes.
Tom Chapa,
Yes.
Dave Crisafulli,
Yes.
Jim McKenzie,
Yes.
Kristen Norfleet,
Yes.
Sean Onmet.
Yes.
Okay. Resolved that Jim McKenzie will be elected president of the Board of Education for the City School District of the City of Oswego, New York, beginning July 2nd, 2024, continuing until a successor is elected at the next annual meeting of the Board of Education. And now I'll read your oath. Should we have the right one? Okay, you want to raise your right hand and say, "I do," after me? I, Jim McKenzie, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and I will faithfully discharge, according to the best of my ability, the duties of the position of President of the Board of Education, which I am now assigned.
I will.
You can print these. Thank you. Okay, next is the election of a vice president of the Board of Education for the 24-25 school year. Are there any nominations?
Nominate Tom Siapa.
Are there,
I'll second that.
are there any other nominations? Okay. Okay, that's the second motion, Sean Callan. All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call.
Roll call. Sean Callan,
Yes.
Julie Chetney,
Yes.
Tom Chapa,
Yes.
Dave Crisafulli,
Yes.
Jim McKenzie,
Yes.
Kristen Norfleet, Sean Onmet.
Yes.
Okay. Resolved that Tom Chapa will be elected Vice President of the Board of Education of the City School District of Oswego, New York, beginning July 2nd, 2024, and continuing until a successor is elected at the next annual meeting of the Board of Education. Now we'll do your oath. Right. Raise your right hand. I, Tom Chapa, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and I will faithfully discharge, according to the best of my ability, the duties of the position of Vice President of the Board of Education, which I am now assigned.
I do.
Okay? You can print and sign. And now I get to turn it back over to the new president, Jim McKenzie.
All right, thank you very much. Next on our agenda is the recommended actions for our reorganizational meeting here. I'm going to do item A first, which is the Amanda Conley, the election of our student representative to the Oswego City School District Board of Education for the 2024-2025 school year. So if I can have a motion, please.
Move.
Thank you, Kristen. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Tom. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The motion carries. Just like to welcome Amanda here. Thank you for coming to our meeting here, and welcome to all of the rest of them for the summer, if you're available. But if not, we'll see you when school starts again. All right, thank you.
I did not put it on the agenda, but I have her oath. If I could just read your oath right now.
Absolutely.
Do you mind?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Since I have it. Okay, now we can raise your right hand, and when I am done, you can say, "I do." I, Amanda Connolly, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and I will faithfully discharge, according to the best of my ability, the duties of the position of Board of Education member. You're not Board of Education member, the Board student, which I am now assigned. Student representative for the Board of Education 24-25 school year.
I will.
My apologies. I will fix it, but I'll have you sign when you write that. Thank you.
Okay, so next on the agenda, there are quite a few items here, some of which can be grouped together unless there are any objections. I'm going to ask that we group items B through P. To give everybody a moment to look at it. I'm happy to separate them out if any members would like to. Sorry, as I was saying, I'm looking to group together items B through P unless there are any objections from any of the members. Okay. Okay, so if I could please get a motion for items B through P.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, David. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Sean. Any discussion on these items? Okay, having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. So we're to item Q, which is our committee appointments for the 2024-2025 school year. So I'm going to open with, we're going to go in order here, so I'll open nominations for the audit committee, please.
I'd like to stay on the audit committee.
Thank you, David. Right. Nominations can be self or otherwise. Forgot to mention that. Kristen, thank you. Anybody else?
I'll stay in.
Tom?
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, that's 3, so close nominations. Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Right, motion carries. So so at this point, we would also look to ask somebody to serve as chairperson of the committee. That's on the agenda.
I can
So,
do it.
David, thank you. Okay. That doesn't take a full vote of the board, so as long as the rest of the committee members are happy with that, I think we can go with consent. Yes? Thank you. All right, so thank you, David. All right, on to community relations. Open nomination, self or otherwise.
I'd like to stay on that.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Anyone else?
I'll go ahead and stay on that
Tom,
as well.
you'll stay on this? I think this one can have up to 3, but unlike our other ones, I think 2 or 3 is sufficient. Some of our other ones are actually codified a bit in the policies. But if there's a third individual who's interested. Okay. So look to close nomination then. Okay, so we have Sean Anmach and Tom Chiappa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Okay, either one of you care to serve as chairperson? Sean? Okay, thank you very much. Facilities Committee, open nominations? Okay, Sean, thank you.
Well, I'd like to stay on that one.
Okay, thank you, David.
I'd like to stay as well.
Wonderful. All right. Move to close nominations. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you. Somebody willing to act as chairperson?
I am.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Policy Committee.
I'd like to stay on that committee.
Okay. Thank you, Julie.
I'll stay.
Kirsten. Thank you, Sean. Okay, so all those in favor of Julie, Kristen, and Sean Callan?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Chairperson? Kristen, thank you. Visitation Committee. I'll open nominations.
I'd like to join that committee this year.
Julie? I'd be willing to continue, although I haven't served on the rest of the committees as president. I think my schedule allows me to go to the buildings more than maybe some others, so I'll volunteer unless somebody else really wants to do it.
I would say the same. I have the flexibility to do it, but I think it'd be nice if we can get more people to rotate through, so if you can, if it fits in schedules. But if not,
Anybody
then.
else?
I can if nobody else wants to, but I've been through those buildings a lot of times.
You give the tours.
Well,
Okay, so, Tom, is that what I'm hearing? Okay. Okay, we'll have nominations of Julie, myself, and Tom. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Chairperson? Would like to say-
I can chair.
Okay, Julie, thank you very much. All right, so next on the agenda are the tentative committee meeting dates. So we asked everybody to kind of think about your schedules when you thought about which committees you'd like to serve on. Some of these meetings are kind of dictated, such as the audit committee, but some are going to be more flexible, like I imagine the community relations committee and the visitation committee based on the buildings. The ones that are going to be more hard and fast in times are probably the facilities committee with all of our capital planning and the policy committee. I think this is the year where we're going to start tackling our policies from the beginning. So there's going to be more lift on that one. So we'll start at the beginning with the audit committee. So David, you were willing to chair this. It's David, Kristen, and Tom. Dr. Kilmer, is this something that you want to set a regular meeting time for right now, or do you want to get, as we get closer to our audit time, have it established?
So we met at the last meeting and talked about this, and so we've got kind of a tentative timeline of when we're going to meet throughout the school year. We haven't selected a specific date, but we should put that on the books relatively soon, so the public knows when we are going to be meeting. So we should make sure that we at least have that finalized by the end of the summer. So we can move forward with that. But audit committee does not need to meet monthly, but we did talk about the frequency and the general timeframe around when audits would be completed.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, so we'll go to the Community Relations Committee. Sean, you chaired this last time and have agreed to continue. What's your thoughts on frequency of meetings?
It was periodically when needed, once a month. Be a good start, just to keep up with anything that we have to get out to the public.
Okay, so if we're looking to start once a month, starting maybe in July?
Either mid-July.
Okay, so for the members on the Community Relations, which is Tom and Sean, are there particular times that you think work better than others? For just kind of get a monthly meeting together, or is that going to be variable?
I like it right after the facilities meeting that we're doing now. That's up to Tom.
Yeah, I have a lot of flexibility, so I would defer to Sean's schedule and Ray's schedule when we can do it.
Okay, so if we're going to be working that around Facilities Committee, we'll put a pin in that one as well, and Facilities.
Before you do that,
Yes.
though, just based on our conversation just a few minutes ago, I don't know that you're going to be able to, based on some of your other obligations, I don't know that that's going to work. So my recommendation is that we pick a day of the week and come up with the general timeline that works best, so that we can at least get them on the schedule and calendar, and then we can always make an adjustment if need be.
What about what I brought to you yesterday before one of our normal board meetings? Look at 4.
That absolutely works for me, if it would work for
it works.
Tom. So so why don't we do this? Why don't we schedule our July meeting? And then at that July meeting, we can finalize dates, bring it to the board, finalize, so that way it's published and everyone has access to that.
And so it may be something as simple as 4:30 before the second meeting of the month.
Right.
Something like that. Okay.
So the next meeting that we have is the 23rd. So do you want to meet at 4 or 4:30 on the 23rd to finalize?
Yeah.
What time, 4 or 4:30?
Let's do 4.
4 o'clock?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock, July 23rd.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Gilman.
Thank you.
All right, now we're to facilities. So we have Sean, and David. And Dr. Kilmer again, but.
Yeah. So this one, we've had a pretty good cadence with frequency every 2 weeks. There are some things coming up. You mentioned it earlier about closing out Phase 4. Some of the frequency might increase, but it won't involve the committee members. So we'll stay at 2 weeks. We're determining the time right now with the King and the principals there of what time we'll get our meetings started. It could be as early as 7 a.m., but we'll work with them and get a final time for that.
Well, why don't we talk about amongst the committee members, would a 7 a.m. start time on any particular day of the week work for the three of you?
I'm good for 7. And also, unfortunately, when pre-K starts up, I'll be a lot more available from moving forward.
Yep, yep. So, if we were able to do a 7 to 9,
Yes.
would that work for the
Yeah,
group?
I would ask that not Monday, though.
Not Monday, yep. So, is there a day of the week, let's say Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? Is
7
there,
to 9, I'm good any day.
any day is fine?
Depends on my schedule. As long as we stay on the 2 weeks that we're on now, I'm good.
Okay, so we'll try to stick on that. But does it matter if we make a shift in day, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
Shouldn't.
Okay, so try to stay on that same every other week,
Yep.
on that same week, but I'll work with King and King on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'll email the group, we'll finalize and make sure we've got dates available for kind of final approval at our next meeting.
Okay,
Does that work?
yeah.
Yep.
And I just want to say additionally, outside of that, something that we didn't do last year that we're looking to do this year is meet with Dr. Kilmer, just as, Dave, Sean, and myself, more local conversation versus just the capital project. So we're looking to, build some of those in, or maybe we'll just stay until 9:30, piggybacking our every 2-week meeting. But we feel like we have to do that to talk more about the everyday things that are in the district from a facility standpoint. So I just want to bring that up.
We've had a couple things that just got blown over because the people at the table had nothing to do with like our inner facilities thing. So to discuss like the Wilbur Field or the Wink training room or stuff like that, is stuff that we need to do.
Like Ian, Dr. Kilmer, it would be like that group, so.
Great, excellent, thank you. Okay, so next is the policy committee. We have Kristen agreed to chair, and Julie and Sean. Callan.
We have a meeting once a month at 7:30. Can we continue on that?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still
I'm
on the
good with that.
Fridays?
Yeah,
Those Fridays still work?
yeah.
Okay. Do you want to start, we don't have a date set for July yet. Do you want to start a date in July? Do you want to start in August?
We can start a date in July. I'm back on the 17th, so after that, and then we can start with, why don't I send an email, and then after that, propose the first Friday of every month, and then we can do the same thing we did last time, which is if anyone has a conflict, then we'll go to the next Friday
can
after
shift.
that, and we'll do it just like we did last time.
Okay,
Okay.
that sounds great.
Okay, that was easy. And then visitation committee is going to be based on the availability of Dr. Kilmer and the buildings,
Yeah.
so.
So Julie, my advice to you is Diane will help you, because there's a lot of moving parts. You have to be in different buildings at different times of the day, and so Diane helped facilitate that with the building principals or whoever runs the building, and
Okay,
helps set it all up.
sounds good.
So just to kind of summary here, the ones that we haven't nailed down exact dates, we're going to be working to do in the next 3 weeks for our next meeting. One of the ideas here is that we're going to vote on these dates to make them a formal thing within the board, and also publicize them more out on our web in different avenues to show exactly when we're meeting in case there's any public input or comment on any of the things that the committees are dealing with.
Jim, I'm not part of this, I don't mean to stick my nose into it, but with visitation, I don't know if it would make sense, you didn't do city BOCES. Did you guys visit?
We did not do city BOCES, no.
So I don't know if that makes sense, or if going and seeing, going there and then coming back and giving, an update on that, but I was just a thought.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. Absolutely. We'll talk about it as we start planning for the next year. Appreciate it. Yeah, I like it. Okay, we are to our regular meeting. So as we do at the beginning of every regular meeting, we have an open floor to the public, which nobody has signed up for this morning. So we're moving on to item number 9, the Board of Education. We have the approval of our strategic planning that was distributed and discussed at our last meeting. Okay, so if I can get a motion for our strategic plan, please.
I'll move.
Thank you, Kristen. Is there a
I'll
second?
second.
Thank you, Julie. Any discussion? I would just like to say then, based on what we discussed last time, I'd like to thank all the stakeholders, Dr. Kilmer and his team for organizing all of this. It's a big lift when you do a strategic plan, but it's very critical because whenever you're making decisions in a district, you should be thinking about how does it fit into our strategic plan? Especially when maybe sometimes people don't understand a decision, and when you can phrase it in, this is why we're doing it. It's a very important document. So I want to thank everybody involved again, especially for all the members of the community, whether your parents or just community members who didn't have parents participated. It was a wonderful showing that I participated in a couple times, and so thank you again to everybody. All right, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Is anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Committee discussions, I know Does Visitation have something?
We do.
Yep, okay.
We went to the bus garage for our final visitation of the year. And in keeping with the rest of my reports, it was fun and exciting. So this is what I learned. I learned that it must be really fun to work at the bus garage because there's a big sign inside the building that says safety starts when you walk outside. So inside the building, it must be a really good time. We really need to get air conditioning in their lounge. We have them working during the summer, so we need to make that as comfortable a space as possible. I'm sorry I did not get her name, but there was a delightful bus driver that we met. She's a young woman who had made last day of school gifts for all of her riders. They were age appropriate. She had gifts for her high school kids and gifts for her elementary kids. And I had seen her earlier when I first arrived getting out of a bus with a bouquet of flowers that someone had given her that day for an earlier ride. So some of our drivers, I'm sure all of our drivers are wonderful, but I really noted that when she got out of the bus, that was really awesome. I also thought it was really cute that there was another driver who got off the bus that saw us all standing there who made a beeline over to us, who wanted to know exactly what was going on and get right in the middle of what we were doing. So we have this really great program where we buy 9 buses, sell 9 buses every year. So we always have these new buses coming in all the time. So for anybody who's watching online, everybody knows that there's a school bus driver shortage. So to put it in real numbers, we have approximately, if we're fully staffed, about 65 drivers. Since COVID, now we have about 45 drivers. So do the math. We're missing about a third of our drivers. We have new buses. Some of them have air conditioning for the drivers. It's apparently really fun to work there because fun happens in that building. There's really great people there. So please, if you're looking for a part-time gig with fun people, apply to be a bus driver. We really need more people to help support our kids and all the really great things we want to do for our kids, to get them to their sports events and their extracurricular stuff, and just to get them to and from school. So we also had a conversation about the impact if we do have to go to electric buses, like the state's been talking about. And there's a lot of things to talk about if that happens. Everything from how do we charge them? Can the power support it? Do we have to build more facility to isolate? Right now, we have the garages house a lot of buses. Do we have to put firewalls in so that if there is a fire, we don't lose everything? We only lose 4 or 5. What do we have to do about repairs, et cetera? So there's a lot to consider if we do have to move to electric buses. We talked about that a little bit too. So that's a really great facility over there. They're doing a lot of really great stuff. And it was a great way to round out the year for visitation. I really like Sean's idea, though, of adding city BOCES in, because that's the one place we didn't hit. And I appreciate the hospitality of everyone who hosted us over the course of the year.
I do want to add to that, Kristen, too. If we do get people to apply, Dr. Kilmer did say that he'd put on scuba gear and go through the wash, didn't he? I
Yes,
thought I heard.
he
I
did.
just don't know. I'm going to
He
reiterate.
did. In fact, so we have this really cool car wash for the buses that apparently the drivers love going through, and it looks just like a car wash, like you would bring your car through, not a touchless, but the one with the spinny things. And he told us he was going to do a video this summer of him going through the car wash for a promotional thing to get people to apply to be drivers, which I think is awesome, and we're all going to go and watch because it's going to be fantastic.
And I want to hold on
And
to the
I'm pretty
spinny
sure
thing.
that Matt is going to film it.
No, Mr. President, that we need to review the term confidentiality.
Well, but wait a minute. I did want to say on a serious note that I was out someplace and one of the employees from there did approach me and was very grateful that we did come over, and that was glad that everyone from the board had been there and reached out and visited with them. So it was a good moral support thing as well. So thank you. And I'll go with you. I'll jump on that thing.
Well, I think that's a good time to reiterate, speaking of the buses, I had known before, but I think it's worth talking about as much as possible, because one of the things about buses is we purchase 8 or 9 new buses every year, and we put them up for a vote and a resolution, and sometimes I hear, we're always buying new buses, we're always buying new buses. And we happened to be there on a Friday, and I think it was Monday, that we were going to start an auction. And we learned that our buses are probably going to go out now for somewhere around $25,000 or $26,000 a bus to sell. And if you take the cost of a new bus plus the aid that we get back from the state, and then you add in the $25,000 resale, we basically use a bus for almost free of cost, other than our own general maintenance, diesel fuel, whatever it may be. But when you look at the resolutions, we don't realize sometimes that with state aid and with selling them back, we basically keep a new fleet for zero cost to the district. So that's a great thing that I was reminded of that I don't think about much, but we were there and we talked about it, so.
And that's just a reminder, the reason we go to the community and it's a resolution in the annual election is because we bond for them, right? So we borrow. Every time we borrow, we have to ask approval from the community. If we built it into the budget, and some districts do, there would not be a need to go out and vote on it. But it is important for us to do a better job of clearly communicating on the front end so everyone understands. Because all you see in the resolution is the ability to borrow $2 million to buy buses, and you don't have any of that backstory, and that looks very different to our community and taxpayers. So it is important for us to do a better job of communicating exactly that.
I do have one more fun fact we learned at the visitation. They track the buses after they sell them at auction, and it is possible, if you go on a trip to Mexico and you're on a tour in Cancun or Cozumel, that you're on an Oswego bus, because they have tracked them all the way to Mexico after they sell them at auction.
Forgot to turn off a GPS.
Julie, are you going to be able to, I mean, there's a
Going to
lot
be a
going,
really
there's a lot
hard
going
act to
on there.
follow.
Okay, yes, and so, thank
Jim?
you.
Facilities, please.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I started at the end of the list. It popped out of my eye because I knew Kristen had something. I'm going to go back to
Of
the
course.
beginning of the list now.
Okay.
Audit, does audit have anything?
No.
No, thank you. Community relations? No. Thank you. Facilities?
Yeah, just a couple things that came up in our recent facilities meeting, and it really came from some folks in the community asking about the practice field. So just wanted to give an update on that. We are conditioning and doing treatment on the practice field. I know a lot of people were wondering, by the looks of it, what happened. It didn't really look like it was in good condition, be it brand new. So I think today, actually, is the second treatment that's going onto the practice field. Ian let us know about that, and it is starting to take to the treatments that it's going through. And there will be a third and a fourth application before fall. So we'll really should start to see the condition of the practice field turn around. So I wanted to give everybody an update on that. Also, a couple people have come to me asking, like, how do we approach as a district at all of our buildings accessibility and handicap, parking and things like this. So we had a great discussion yesterday in our facilities committee meeting with the architects, and especially as we go into phase 4. Everybody will definitely see in phase 4 Buccaneer Boulevard and a huge transformation with parking lots and bus drop-offs and the entrance to the high school. So I just wanted to let everyone know that we are talking about this, that the school district always looks at accessibility, but with the layout that we currently have in front of us for phase 4, we actually had some recommendations yesterday to enhance the accessibility in some of our parking lots and how close they are in vicinity to the theater, to the main entrance that will be transformed of the high school. So it's part of our conversation, and we're paying attention to it, and people will see that as we roll out phase 4. But I just wanted to let everybody know that it's from an architectural standpoint and a committee standpoint that we're looking at that. It's important.
Wonderful, thank you, Sean. Policy? Julie? Nothing, okay. Thought you might be looking to follow up on something. All right, then, that's our committee discussion. We are to the consent agenda. We only have 2 items. A is the special education student report, and B is the minutes from our last regular meeting. So if I can have a motion to group A and B together, please.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, David. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next is personnel. Item A are administrative staff recommendations for our Director of Special Education and the OMS Principal. So if I can get a motion for item A, please.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Julie. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Sean. Any discussion? Okay, having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. I'd like to just take a moment to acknowledge Amy Godkin here in the audience with us. Welcome to the Oswego family. You're a buck now. We appreciate you being here.
I like the blue dress.
There you go. You're matching our new table covers. It's wonderful. Thank you. Item B is a retirement. So we have Deborah Meeks, who has admirably served the students and staff of Oswego High School District as a food service helper from September 4th, 2012, with full commitment to the best interests of all the students and worked in partnership with her fellow employees. So if I can have a motion for her retirement, please.
I'll move.
Thank you, Kristen. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Sean. Any other discussion? Heard none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now we have a bunch of different items, and I'm going to look to group C through L. Unless there are any objections, I'd be happy to separate them out. So it's basically, it's the rest of the list. So if you take a moment to review that real quick and make sure it's okay to group C through L. Okay. All right, so if I can get a motion then for items C through L.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Julie. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Sean. Any discussions on items C through L? Having heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Next up, we have finance, which has two items, an agreement between us and East Syracuse Manoa, and use of our facilities for basketball practice for the Ontario Storm. So if I can have a motion for items A and B, please.
I'll move.
Thank you, Kristen. Is there a second?
I'll
Okay, thank you. Tom? Any discussion on A and B? Heard none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there anybody opposed? Motion carries. Items from the board.
I have something.
Yes.
First of all, I want to say I participated in graduation, and it was wonderful, and congratulations to all our graduates. I want to say that the students who gave speeches did a wonderful job. I know it's not easy, as someone who does have to speak in public a lot, to stand up in front of a lot of people and talk, and I was very proud of them to do that in front of a very large group of people, and so congratulations to them. But what I really wanted to do with my microphone time was give a shout out to a specific teacher. We have a whole lot of wonderful teachers who work for us, but I was really struck during the graduation process by one specific teacher. I have seen her before at work, and I knew she was wonderful, but it was really highlighted during graduation, and that is Megan Donabella. I have seen her when I did a building tour running her classroom that she calls Donabella University. She's a special ed teacher here at the high school, and she's a one of a kind. And by my count, 3 of her kids graduated on Saturday, and she was waiting at the end of the ramp after they would accept their diploma to coax them as to what to do after they got the diploma. And she was waiting with open arms and a huge smile and gave them a huge hug. And there was so much love and so much pride in what they had accomplished for them. And they were so excited to see her at the end of the ramp. And it brought, I'm not a crier, but it brought a little bit of a tear to my eye when I saw that. And it just reinforced to me how special she is and how thankful I am that she is dedicated to Oswego and to the kids here, and that she has graced us with her talents. And I just don't think it's possible that she's being told enough how awesome she is. So I wanted to use my opportunity to speak to say that.
I also wanted to just note that Kristen and I had the opportunity to attend the 8th grade celebration for our 8th graders going to high school. And having been to 3 previous 8th grade moving up ceremonies for my own children, that event has really evolved over the years. So I really wanted to congratulate and thank both Mary Beth and Sam for continuing to really build upon a pretty amazing celebration of our middle school students. It was energizing. Going in there, you thought you were going to a party, but everything was well orchestrated, and it was really, just to piggyback on what Kristen was saying, the entire middle school staff, or at least most of them that were in 8th grade, teachers, they were all there, kind of standing there applauding, kind of same kind of thing you saw, Kristen, at graduation, I think, with Megan. It was just really very moving, and I really commend the leadership at the middle school for such an amazing event, and I really felt like those 8th graders were really excited to be going to the high school. So it was just pretty special.
Any other items from board members? Okay. There is not a need for an executive session this morning. So if I can have a motion to adjourn, please.
Do that. I just wanted to thank Tammy Gills, who really orchestrates graduation from start to finish. I met with her a couple of different times, and every step of that ceremony is a carefully choreographed process. From Ray, you're going to sit here, to you're going to stand there, you're going to walk here. There's been a lot of work in that, and a lot of that falls to Tammy as in her role as senior class advisor. So I just wanted to give a shout out to her, and then Kaylee Morse, who did a great job of just trying to help and organize, especially the honor guard of all the staff. I couldn't get over the number of staff that showed up and participated in the ceremony. That was just really outstanding and shows their love and dedication for the students. And so thank you to anyone and everyone that was involved.
Thank you, Dr. Gilmer. Okay, so can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, please?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Julie. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Tom. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Have a good day, everybody.
There are morning snacks.